shout out to Hoops Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoops Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoops Jargon. Shout out to Hoops
Jargon.
What's up, everybody? To quote the great Kendrick Perkins, shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. Well, we got a good show for you guys lined up today. As promised, I think it's important on this channel, guys, that you see perspective from guys who play at the highest level, who have relationships at the highest level, because this is basically a microcosm of my life, and I've been fortunate enough to know a lot of things based on the relationships I have. And so here's just a way to kind of peer into the mind of Hoop Jargon. So I'm going to bring up a very special guest, and there's none other than NBA exec, VP of operations, two-time NBA champion. Well, Dane told me three, Malik Rose. You got the third one? You got the third one, Malik?
Part of it. I mean, that's a heartbreaking moment right there, man, talking about that trade. So I try not to bring it up. But no, man, I was a part of a lot of championship winning teams in my mind, man. So really, really happy. Like you said, you got your connections, the people you know. I got some lifelong connections from those people, and happy to be on the show, though, man. Really happy. Thanks for giving me time. We were supposed to do this a long time ago, but we weren't able to get it done, man. So I'm happy you're still interested, and I'm happy we're able to get it done.
Absolutely, man. And life happens, guys. You got to build while you fly sometimes, but we got it. We here, and that's what's important, man.
My man.
Let's get
it.
All right. Yes, sir. So shout out to everybody who's here early. Y'all hit the like on the stream, man. Get more people in here. I want y'all to be able to ask Malik some questions before he got a boogie, man. It's a busy man right there, man. All right. So Malik, for those who are the younger cats on here who may have heard your name but don't know a lot about your career, with you coming out of Drexel, little big man. And shout out to my boy Sean Brooks. My boy Sean Brooks went to Drexel too. He was a little round mountain rebound too. So okay. Tell me, how your path was getting from, a relatively reputable school, in the hoops world, in Drexel.
Low level.
You know what it is, man. It's smaller D1. I went to small D1, so it ain't no shade. Drexel bigger than school's mine. But just talk a little bit about your beginnings, man.
Man, it was weird, dude. Growing up in Philly, everybody was a Sixers fan. Everybody loved Dr. J and Charles Barkley, Moses Malone, Andrew Toney. So those are the guys I grew up idolizing, especially Barkley. But just grew up on the courts, man. It's weird. I got kids now, and it's like trying to get them to go outside and play basketball or do anything outside is like a chore. But that's what I love to do. Like kids, my age. I'm guessing you're a little younger than me or whatever, but our age, I'll say. We wanted to go hoop. We wanted to just go outside. We hated being in the house, man. And so that's where I just started playing basketball. I played in Belfield Rec, Waterview. I played, we moved to Hunting Park, played out Southwest Philly. I played in Tustin in West Philly. So I was just hooping every day. And, I got better and better. Never really like the best player on the team. But as I started to, get better, get stronger, get taller, and my round the rebound kind of stressed out to a little bit of tall man to rebound, but that's how it was. I just fell in love with the game at an early age, started playing it, and it was just a way to express myself and compete. And as God would have it, I just got better and was able to kind of carve a life out of the game of basketball. So truly, truly thankful for that.
No, that's a blessing, man, and it's also, I switched hats, man. This beanie was too hot. I had to take it
out. You down in H-Town. Summer gonna go till about December.
Well, I'm in LA now. I'm from Houston, but I moved out.
2 blocks down. LA just
Facts. But no, man, I was sweating. I was like, oh yeah, wardrobe change. But no, and that's where, like, I think a lot of guys now go through the trainings more than actually hooping outside in city leagues and rec leagues, like. Because when I was coming up, I'm a little younger than you. Mm-hmm. We didn't have AAU wasn't a thing like that. Like it was around, but you travel you with your neighborhood. And at best, that's what you had going. You had to raise money.
Team, right? Yeah.
Facts. And now, I guess now you see a lot of guys have a lot of nuance missing from their games, and I think that's why a lot of people are a little frustrated where NBA is now. Because our generation, all we did was hoop, man. It didn't matter how prestigious, we were just hooped.
And that stuff matters, Cliff. It matters. Like, I'm sure you've seen it. You've coached before, so I know you've seen it. But like in my previous life, I was on the team side. I was, director, scouting. I was working, pro personnel, college personnel. And a lot of the stuff we would see with some of the kids coming up is, yeah, they can play the game. They're athletic. They run fast. They jump high. They got long arms and all that stuff. But when it came down to knowing how to play, I was shocked to find this out that, there's a big drop off. A lot of guys will do what we call like drill you to death. They'll run drills, they'll run around chairs and shoot jumpers and all that and look great. You put them on a court with 9 other guys and, put them in a 5-on-5 setting and they like lost. And that really blew my mind when I was scouting. I'm just like, how can you, look this good doing this, that, and the third, but when it came time to, just play, you weren't like as fluid or as comfortable. And that's one of the things I, try to teach all the kids I come into contact with. Yes, doing drills and working and grinding on your game, all that's great. But be sure to get out there, whether it's on an indoor court or just out on the asphalt. Get you some 5-on-5 because that's where your creativity, your love for the game, and a lot of your competitive vibe comes from.
No, that's facts, man. And that's kind of, I guess, a little tantamount to my career because I wasn't a great workout guy. I was very athletic. I just didn't have like handles like that. And if you put me through drills, you wouldn't see the kind of player I am. But I always say, like, let's play up and down and you'll see. Because I just knew where to be. You made winning
plays, exactly. Yeah.
I knew how to balance the floor. I knew, because, like you say, when you put guys out there who got the measurables, but when you let them play against other guys, they're lost. You got to tell them where to be every time. Like, I remember coaching, like, yo, that block every time. Don't do nothing else.
No floor balance. Like, they're standing right next to the guy. The one guy can guard 2. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't move.
That's facts. And I love you saying this because I preach this on this channel. It's a little boring to hear that from me. But I want to know that's what actual NBA scouts look at.
It's not just college. It's not just high school. Like, these are guys that made it to the highest level NBA basketball. Like, these are the best 450, 480 people in the world. And like floor balance, recognizing like play integrity, things like what this play is drawn up to do. This play is drawn up to get this guy a shot. So it's not for you to go catch the ball in the wing and do your little curly Neal imitation or whatever. It's for you got to run here, screen here. Guys don't really understand all that, and I'm really hoping that the AAU scene, which dominates basketball, and it's not a bad thing. I don't have anything against AAU, but I really hope a lot of the teaching comes back into predominantly the AAU game, but high school and charter schools, colleges, whatever. But guys have to get back into that 5-on-5, just roll it out, let's play mode.
Yeah, that's facts, man. And shout out to Christian G. I'm gonna ask you a question, y'all. Y'all know super chats get priority. Shout out Christian
G. He texted me, so he told me I better shout him out, man. So
yeah. That's the homie.
Held up on the podcast, man. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, man. And I'm gonna get into your question. Y'all know super chats get priority. Y'all drop a little change on the channel, man. I'm gonna show you love. But that's one thing I will take away from talking to LeVar Ball. I know a lot of people don't understand his methodology, but one thing he was saying is he made his boys train like hell since they were like 3 years old. Like they had to learn to shoot NBA threes. That's why they all kind of got the crazy releases.
Right.
He made them, and he also wanted them to be good playing 5-on-5. He wants them to understand you got 2 dudes on you, somebody open. And they basically would make them more of kinetic players. I'm more cerebral, let me say, where they can think basketball quick. And I think a lot of people don't preach that because it's all about, you say, the skills and drills. That's nice. But if you don't understand floor balance, you don't understand seeing the play ahead of time. That's why these kids can pass ahead. Like, so he taught them to think that way.
It's funny you say that because scouting his kids, and they're all, some were good. I mean, they're all good, but, some were better than the others or whatever. But they all have a natural feel. That's one thing you could say about the Ball trio. Like, they all knew how to play. They all compete pretty well. It's weird, LeVar gets a bad rap in some circles because of, his show or whatever. But when you really look at it, this man has gotten, I love him. Like, I got no problems with him. He's gotten 3 kids through college and at the highest level of basketball coming out of LA. So it's like, hats off to that man and what he's doing. Like, when he's on for the cameras, that has that's not, I think that's who he is, but I think he puts on a little bit to drum up publicity or whatever. But that man knows what he's doing. I always had, held him in high regard just because of the fact he raised 3 boys along with his wife three boys and got them all to, the NBA. But, like having them to learn how to play basketball like that, that's just another feather in his cap as far as I'm concerned, because his guys, LiAngelo isn't in the NBA yet. He's on the fringe, but they all know how to play. And, that's a skill in my book, just knowing how to play.
That's real, man. And I will say this. I thought exactly like you until I met him. He is like that 24/7.
Oh, yeah. I saw him at a couple of AAU tournaments, so yeah, he's on. But I can't front, man. I grew up with a lot of cats that aren't half the father he is. So, he gets a knock for being loud and abrasive or whatever, but he raised three boys, man. Got them all to the NBA, man. Hats off to that brother.
Hats off to LeVar. And I ain't want to make this about LeVar, but
that's cool. It's basketball.
It's basketball. There you go. It blended in. All right, shout out to Christian G with the $5 super chat. What did you take away from being on the championship teams, Malik? How do you how does that mold you into the exec you are now? And I'm not paying you any money.
Hey, he already paid his fee, his league dues, man. I got the change now. He done technically paid me. So he paid $5. So I guess I got to give him the real answer. Shout out.
All right, go for it.
But so one of the things, man, being on those championship teams with the Spurs, I was fortunate, like all my teammates and, a lot of people that came through the San Antonio organization, to be exposed to Coach Popovich. He taught us a lot of things, man, on the court and off the court. And, he's a little abrasive and he can be, terse at times with, the way he is. But the man is super smart and he cares, man. He knows the game, but he cares about his players. So one of the things he used to always teach us during those championship runs is like, he drove home the point about how being prepared is a huge part of just anything, winning championships, of course, but I use it today. You asked, how do, what did I learn from those championship teams and how does it mold me into stuff today? Like being prepared for whatever it is I got to do, man. Like, this job here at the NBA, I got to know all the players, be it, college, G League, NBA, international now. So being prepared, knowing the rules with this position, code of conduct, disciplinary things with players and all that, like the history of the league. You got to know the referees. I thought I knew the rules being a player, coming up. I did, in large part. But there's a lot of nuances to these NBA rules, man. And you're like,
oh yeah,
that's a rule. You can't do that. So learning those things and being prepared for the job, I think really helps me. And then I try to apply that in everything else in my life. Just being a father, being a husband, just being a brother, a man, being prepared for everything just helps me increase my chances at success.
I like that, man, because even though I'm a ardent Lakers fan, Greg Popovich, right now it's kind of hard with the LeBron James experience. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's a whole bunch of going on. It's not about the purple and gold, right? And that ain't quite how I roll as the Lakers fan, but it's hilarious. But no, like I think but Greg Popovich to me is the greatest coach of all time to me. Mm-hmm. To me, mm-hmm. It's because. And I'll give you the moment it swayed me from Phil Jackson to him. When they lost to the Heat, and the Heat went and reloaded and got Rashard Lewis, and they got somebody else to just keep going up. Mm-hmm. Greg Popovich went and got Marco Bellinelli. And I was just like, why do you not get more people? Like, you came back and smacked them beat them like they stole something. I was like, man, that is a brilliant coach. And when he made them sit out the game when Timmy, Manu and Parker all sat out, and they lost to the Heat by 2 points in overtime. Yeah. I was like, dog, if you know coaching, he was telling them, you going to do this my way or you going to be on the sideline. And it was like more or less a scare tactic. You could tell what it was. Yeah.
Well, Pop is always trying to come at you from different ways as far as like on the mental, like be it to motivate you, be it to, discipline you or whatever. He had a lot of messages with that to the Spurs and to people not in Spurs uniforms. I remember that time. He got fined a lot of money by the league for that. So, Pop is very strategic in what he does, and he was definitely strategic in sending those three guys home. It was more of a message to the league than it was to his players, but we don't need to rehash that, especially since I'm sitting here in the league offices right now. Pop was really big about that, and like he would do things to make you think. That was his big. His big thing was always to make you think. And putting Bellinelli on the team, I know that was like a strategic move because, San Antonio is not a huge, free agent destination. South Texas is a small town. It's a great town. I love it. I mean, I still, call it home or whatever. I got, my footprint there. So San Antonio, that being the case, he has to really build the teams. It's not like, LA or New York or, somewhere in Miami or whatever, where guys just flock to you because you got, palm trees and sandy beaches everywhere. You really got to work to get guys, one, to come there, and then you got to find the right pieces because they have to fit around at the time, Tim, Tony, and Manu. Bellinelli was a great hire because was a great ad because he could shoot the ball, he could pass the ball, and like we talked about before, he knew how to play basketball. So you put a guy like that where he's like the fourth or fifth best guy on the floor at any point. I mean, he's playing off of great players like Manu and Tony and Tim. He's only adding to it, and even though he's not as sexy a guy when it comes to running, jumping, and being athletic, he can play basketball, and you put him out there with the rest of those guys, and they become very, very hard to stop.
No, that's facts, and that's indicative of a good coach where you understand that your system works. I just need guys who are going to do what I need them to do at the high enough level, and that's what. Again, the boring stuff makes me like stuff with basketball. I don't always go for the frills. Right. And I just, I saw that adjustment. I was like, man, that dude is shrewd, man. Yeah, he is so shrewd.
Somebody like Boris Diaw on there, like, Boris, you probably could beat him running backwards or whatever. But Boris is smart, man. He competes. He knows how to dribble, pass, and shoot. And he, like all the guys, one of the main things you have to be able to play with Pop is you have to have like humility. Like, a lot of these guys, and it's not right, wrong, or different. It wouldn't really work in San Antonio if you were a me guy. If you were a guy that I need to go get my numbers, I need 30. I can, even if you could go out there. There were plenty of nights. I was never the main guy on offense. There were some nights where I could put somebody in the chamber and give them the business. Wasn't happening. I had to rebound, run the floor, and like those guys that you bring in, like a Bellinelli or Boris Diaw or whoever, and even your stars. I mean, that's really when it's special, when your stars have that mindset, that team first mindset, So when you put those guys together, it was no surprise they were able to win as much as they did. And I really, I just treasured that time I was able to be a San Antonio Spur those 8 years, man, because like I said, it shaped a whole lot of what I do on and off the court. And of course, provided me a life that I'm living right now. It's pretty good. So I'm thankful.
No, and I'm glad you segue in there because you're one of the, I'm not gonna say the few, but you know how it goes, man. Some guys after ball, it's not a lot of options after that.
Yeah.
Your brother very articulate. You understand scope. And so let's talk a little bit about your transition to the media game. After playing. Well, let me say this: when you left, did you leave kicking and screaming? How was
man, dude. Regrettably, I left running. I ran towards the door, man. So, like, one of life's mysteries. There are plenty of life's mysteries, but one of Malik's mysteries is I went from being, first big or sixth. Like, it was either me or Manu. I was the first big off the bench. Manu was the first guard off the bench. So, 6-man off the bench for a team that won 60 games a year. Then I get traded to a team that loses 60 games a year, and I can't get off the bench. So, like, my last like 3-4 years in the league weren't good. I was frustrated and angry, and by the time my contract was up, I had some offers, a couple offers to stick around. I was like, I left. I was like, the hell with this. I'm out. Yeah. Looking back on it, I wish I would have played in 2 or 3 more years because when it's over, it's over. Like, you're never going to be able to play at that level again. Like, I don't care how good the runs are at Lifetime Fitness or LA Fitness. The runs there will always pale in comparison to the NBA runs, and I just didn't think about that at the time. I was frustrated, angry, and a little bit stubborn. So I bounced, and I had a daughter coming. My wife was pregnant with my daughter, so I was looking forward to being a dad, man. I went home 24-hour being a dad, and then November came around, and I was like, I wonder if I could still play, but it was too late. So, transitioning, getting back to that. So one of the things I did, kind of like along the lines of preparation, like I always knew I wanted to be around the game of basketball. I just, I wanted to be around it for my life. That's what I'm going to do. Be it coaching, front office, or whatever. So I chose the front office route. It's not like I would never coach, but, there's a saying in the NBA, coaches are hired to be fired, and the GMs do the hiring and firing. So I was like, I want to be the GM. So I started preparing for that. I started studying for that. I went to school for sports management, went back, got a degree in that. And then one of the biggest things that helped me get to where I am today, my man Mike Breen, when I was sitting the bench for the Knicks, Mike does the Knicks game. So we were on a couple road trips. We would go have lunch, and I'd always see him in the gym. Mike's a workout fiend. So we started hanging out, and he's like, "What are you gonna do about after basketball?" Da, 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 da. I still had a couple years left, and started thinking about it more. I was like, "Well, I'm going to school for this, and I want to do the GM game." And he was like, "Well, if you don't, chances are you're not gonna be able to just transition and get on with the team right after you retire. You're gonna have to stick around, and stay in people's minds." So long story short, he was like, "The best way to do that is to be in broadcasting, to just be around the game." So he started working with me, doing some reps on like play-by-play. I was like, his Mark Jackson before Mark Jackson was there. And we recorded a couple of demo roles for MSG. And I just got reps, and I got better at commentating games. So when I retired, no teams were calling to work in the front office, but I got plenty of offers to do sideline work, and studio work is like what Kenny the Jet and Barkley do, pregame, halftime, postgame. And then I got some offers for that. And then I got offers to do play-by-play during the game. So I chose the play-by-play because you're on an NBA schedule. You're traveling with the team. So you're in and out of gyms every night. So I was able to have coffee, have lunch with GMs or other decision makers on teams. And it was never really about talking about jobs or whatever. It was always just talking about their teams. I'm getting, information for my broadcast. But what it did was help me stay in sight and in mind. So when a job did become available, people, I'd be in the front of their minds. Like, hey, I just saw Malik's doing, color work for the Sixers. Let me call him, because I was in the front of their mind. That's actually how it happened. That year, Mike Budenholzer and the Atlanta Hawks. So Budenholzer used to be an assistant coach with the Spurs. Everyone knows, and that was my guy. I was tight with him. The year the Hawks won like 60 some odd games and went to the conference finals against the Cavaliers when LeBron was there. After that season, he got promoted to president of everything. So he was head coach and president of basketball operations. He hired a few people, and I was one of the people he brought on. And that's how I started my journey on the front office side back in 2015. And here I am now, 7 years later, at the league office.
No, I like that, man, because I think, man, especially former athletes, got to understand, you're going to die a few deaths in life. Yeah, when you stop playing, nothing's worse than when you're not known as a hooper no more. I don't care if you're a Malik Rose level, if you're a Kobe Bryant level, if you're a Cliff Franks level, when you're not known as a hooper no more.
Yeah,
it's different. It's
hard,
different.
It's different. That's like your identity. That's like you wear like a badge of honor on your shoulder, and it's funny, man, like especially, like when you're done, like how cold things are. And that's why I'm glad Mike Breen said that to me. And I had heard it from the union and stuff. They tell you to prepare for life after basketball, but they were like, your phone calls, you can call anybody, 1 or 2 calls is either answered or they call you right back. That's when you're playing. But when you're retired, man, you can sky page those people, man. They're not answering half the time. So I was fortunate I was able to, use broadcasting to stay in sight, in mind, and parlay it into where I am now.
But again, that's prophetic, man. You got to stay relevant, man. And even in this YouTube streets, I got to keep putting out content, man. I could put out
worse there, man. Dude, this stuff, because people forget about you. I'm like, you can look at all my social media. I did it. I started social media because I was doing television and I had to interact with the fans or whatever. But I'm 46 years old, man. I ain't on no Instagram and social media like that. So y'all can look and see how detached I am. But like I see people who are really deep in that world, like y'all have to post like all the time to stay relevant, man. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. But I mean, it's something that you just gotta. Because I'm 37, about to be 38 in a month.
Okay, so you're a lot younger than me. Yeah, go
ahead. Yeah, but it's still I'm an old head in this game too, though. So I still, bro, I do not like using Twitter. Instagram is okay. That's not my thing no more, man. Like I used to be
so if you're old, I must be like the Methuselah of the social media game. Jeez.
It's tough, man. My brain don't work like that, man. I try, man. It's just, I don't always do the best job, though.
Right.
Hey, a question for you, man. Shout out to my boy, Between the Game Sports, man. Great basketball mind. One of my high school teammates. He played at Stephen F. Austin as well, but he played after me. Man, so his name is Will. Will says, what is the biggest misconception casual fans get wrong about the NBA? Before you answer that, Malik, y'all hit that like button, man, and y'all hit the Cash App. Y'all do the super chats, all this stuff. I'll be on y'all channels. I support it. You know, I'm a raging capitalist over here. We don't we don't shade the money game. But and I'm gonna say I got another brother from the Black Manosphere, Sir Tice, man. He's met you before. He got a few questions for you before you round it out, man.
Man, we got a little time. I'm having fun, man. So I'll try to answer them quick. We get as many as we can.
Yes,
Shout out
yes,
to
sir.
Between the Game Sports for sure. Appreciate the support. The biggest misconception, well, casual fans, one thing one of the things that bothers me now, like a lot of people don't watch games now. All they do is they watch highlights or they'll watch clips. And that's that world, like you're saying, like everybody got a post. They'll watch something that's like a 2-minute edit as opposed to the whole game. So
Facts.
A lot of casual fans miss a lot of what's going on in the game, like the adjustments, the chess match, the competition. Like you really want to see somebody going at somebody and trying to stop them or trying to score on them. And a lot of times when you just see the highlights or whatever, man, you know, you miss a lot of that. And it's funny you brought that up. You know, I got to shout out my man Dane Irvin. You know, he's scouting that. He's got that AAU world on lock. And one of the things we talk about is a lot of college coaches are lazy scouts. They scout from the edits or they scout from these little music videos online as opposed to going to the game and really diving in and dissecting a player. They'll just scout, oh, he can run, he can jump, he dunks, he jumps high. Let's get him. And it's just like, oh my God. So casual fans and lazy scouts, I guess, I have a real problem with how they just watch, you know, small parts of the game as opposed to the entirety of it, because you're missing out on a lot. And it will really, I think if you watch the games and really dive into it like that, it'll change your arguments and you'll have a better answer for when the question comes up, you know, who's better, you know, LeBron or Kobe, Jordan or LeBron or whatever. Like you'll have a more informed answer as opposed to, you know, he had 33s in one game or something like that.
Nuance matters, guys. Nuance matters. You were so right about college coaches. I've even seen NBA evaluators cheat off cheat sheets. And I hate to, I mean, this is the one that ruminates in my mind the hardest. LaMelo, when he was leaving Australia, the stuff they were saying about him was just like, that dude does not play like that. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. He's sheepish going to the rim. I'm like, no, he likes contact. He does. He's not a skinny guy. Come on, bro.
Man, like there's a need for, you know, this these AAU, you know, guys that have it all mapped out, the ones that really do their work. Like I lean on him. You know, Dane is the guy I'm closest with him. Unfortunately, you know, we used to be friends or whatever. So, you know, I trust him and, you know, I love him to death. But there are a lot of guys out there. And, you know, when I listen to him and I just spend time with him, you can tell the ones that, at least if I was running an organization, this is the type of information I would want. Like it's easy to look and say he jumps high, he runs fast, or the stats say this. But when you look at a guy and you can tell me, like, case in point, this is an extreme example. This guy was 0 for 50 in a game, 0 for 50. But you're telling Malik, this is the guy we need. I know he was 0 for 50, but he can do this, he can do that. This kid competes, he's this. I've been watching him for the longest. If you're still, you know, telling me a guy's strengths after he goes 0 for 50, that's somebody I want on my staff. Like it's just not like one game is gonna sell you or you know, one hot game or whatever. Like you really believe in it and knowing this kid. That's who I want on my staff.
No, that's a perfect example. And again, in these YouTube streets, you know, my moniker is Warm Take Walter, so I don't take hot takes. Like I know NBA evaluates in 10-game intervals. So when I see players when they're kind of against the 8 ball, I'm like, okay, you got to see where the development is. And James Borrego with LaMelo is one I can recall. I was like, they evaluate him in 10 games first, and I behold, game 21, he starts starting. I'm like, you just got to know how these things roll, and you can't get so excited because you see the talent. And I'm just giving an example because this is the most recent thing I've been talking to other people on YouTube. Again, I get my moniker is Warm Take Walter, but I'm just like, man, listen, if you just knew how like people who know basketball talk basketball, it's not just a swell of like, oh, the fans want him out there, so he's out there. That's not how evaluation goes.
Nah, man. You got to look. I mean, so much that goes into scouting. Yes, you can even get the player right. You can know that this guy will he will compete. He knows how to play. He can dribble, shoot, and pass. He can do this. He can do that. But then there's another level. Like, forget about the person you're getting. I mean, that's the player. You got to worry about the person. I mean, is he an alcoholic? Is he a weed head? Is he party? All that stuff. Put that aside. But does he fit with your team? Like, is he at the right age? Or, you know, does he fit with your core group? Does he fit for your coach? Like, can your coach him? So it's like, there's so much that goes into it that casual fans and lazy scouts, lazy teams miss. And you see, 9 times out of 10, they'll be the teams that have the high turnover, or the teams that constantly are in the lottery, things like that. They just
Thanks.
They get it wrong, and they don't learn from their mistakes, man. It's mind-boggling.
Facts, man. And and I guess from the collegiate level, I just see, man, like, you cannot bring every guy in that you like, because they have to fit the culture. Because I've literally, one of my best friends is that, I'll leave his name out this chat, one of the best players we had at Prairie View, and that dude, he's a New York dude, and he's a kick stuff over, ready to knuck if you buck kind of guy, and you had to really rein him in. Now, he was SWAC player of the year, so we had to deal with it, but you just understand, like, you can't have a team full of that. You got to have him, and then the rest of the guys.
Balance it. You got to have balance, man.
That's my guy, though, man. You know, I say his name, Darnell Hugh J. Darnell, know I ain't lying. He know I ain't lying. He's a kind of talent. Like, he actually won the Sprite slam dunk competition with Daryl Dawkins, was like in New York. So we were fortunate enough to have him, man. Like, I'm gonna be honest.
Awesome. Shout out,
but he's super athletic. But yeah, man. So and shout out, man. I'm gonna put you on the spot, and I'm gonna actually bring him up, Sir Ty. So I know you see the question, man. So
I see.
Who you got, bro? You got
they're very close, man. But the one that the championship 99 or 03 that I think was the best for me, I would say 03, and it's strictly because I got more minutes on that team. In 09, I mean 99, I was a third year in the league, third or fourth year, one of them. 30, I think it was a third year in the league. So, and I'm playing behind, you know, Tim Duncan in his second year doing damage, right? So Tim is getting about 148 minutes a game. It's like 30 seconds over for me to get on the court or whatever. So I didn't play that much in 99. I was fortunate to be on the team, and, you know, I did get what minutes I got. But 03, I had a different role. It was bigger. I averaged, you know, like almost 11 points, about 7 rebounds, man. And it was just a special year for me because I had a big season and a much bigger role on a championship team, man. So 03 was a little bit better, but both teams were best. And out of the 5 championships, if you ask me which team was the best, I think that it's a tie between that 03 and 05 team. That 05 team, that's when Manu was coming into his own, and Manu was a bad man to be your third best player.
Thanks.
See, I thought we. Hey, good afternoon, Malik. How you doing?
What's up, Sir Tyson?
Hey. We've met a couple times at Atlanta Airport, and I used to bother you back when you were on NBA radio with you used to be with Termini and Gerald Brown and such, man. But I'm gonna go a little bit in backwards. By the way, we're gonna apologize for Hoop being a Laker fan. You know, you being a former employee of the Pistons and me being a lifelong Piston fan. Yeah. You know, we're gonna apologize.
But you apologize to yourself.
Wins against the Lakers, man. We closed down the forum back in the day, man. So we're good. We ended the 3-peat. We're good.
Exactly.
Shout out to Dex, man. Shout out to Dex for $20 super check. Go ahead, Tyson.
Oh no. But you broke my heart when you said that 05. You know, it was it beat my Pistons. Hey, I'm gonna go backwards real briefly. And by the way, Drexel's finest. Salute to you, brother. It blew me away that you started working in the media when way back in '99. And brother, I can tell your story damn near better than you can. When during the lockout, the media came at you about moving home. Do you recall that, or give the audience some background about this story? It was framed so ridiculously, but go ahead, Malik.
So back then, that was 98. So that was my second year. So I just finished my second year in the league, and you know, you see what the guys are making today. The bag was a little bit different. We made money back in my day, but like my first year and my second year, I didn't have a bag, man. I had like one of them little Crown Royal bags, one of the big duffel bags. Right? So my rookie year, I think I made about $225,000, and then the second year I made $250,000. So that was a lot of cash. You know, coming out of college, 21, 22 years old is great, but you know, we had to get right. You guys will know what I'm talking about. Like, you know, when I first made it to the league, I was in an apartment. I had to get a crib for my mom and my brothers and sisters. We had to get up out of where we was at. So, you know, that took up a lot of the money. Then I had to go and try and get, you know, the clothes. And then, you know, I had to blow my money like every NBA player does. So my first 2 years I didn't have ice or anything, but car, you know, deck out the apartment and all that stuff. So long story short, the lockout comes out. And no more money is coming. That was like the best thing for me because it told me at an early age that this bag can run out quick.
Right.
So my little $250,000 was running out, so I had a nice apartment. I was living down. If you've ever been in Philly, I was right by the art museum on the Parkway, one of them high-rise apartments. It was nice. Had to get out of there, man. I moved back to the crib. It was a nice house, thankfully, one where we grew up. But I had to share a room with my baby brother, who at the time I was 21. So Ricky was 5. My 5-year-old little brother, we're sharing a room, and the reporter who did a story on me moving back home, the day he came in is when he saw the bed and it's like Rugrat sheets on the bed. So my little brother had Rugrat sheets on the
Humbling
bed.
moment, bro.
And that was like the highlight, the marquee of the story. It was like NBA player living on Rugrat sheets, and it's like I've never lived that down. But like I said, it was a blessing in disguise, man, because it really made me be a little bit more frugal and smart with my money.
And I'm gonna say this before you go, Tice, man. Like, where else you getting this kind of insight, man? Y'all like the stream, please. Y'all support the channel, man. We giving you that exclusive stuff, man. Thank you, Tice, and thank you, Malik, man. For real.
No doubt.
Go ahead, Tice.
No doubt, Malik. That's a great segue to when I said I encountered you, or I may have called. Well, then again, I wasn't going by Sarah Tyson when I used to bother you. By the way, you still in touch with Gerald Brown?
Yeah, I talk to him every now and then. Mostly Rick Mahorn.
That's my man. That's my man. Yeah,
my man Frank Isola. I worked on that show with Frank Isola. We did the morning show. Scalabrini is doing it now, Brian Scalabrini. But I know all those guys, man, and I had a lot of fun with Sirius XM Radio.
Now, this is a great segue into what you touched on earlier about just your preparation. And thanks for giving us, my Pistons some time, because when we got you, I want to say it was like 2 years ago, we got you before you moved to the NBA. But I've heard you stress this enough, and please stress this to the audience. You were basically, and again, you've already touched on this, but if you can go to the surface, you're basically saying that while you're playing, that's when you have your most cachet to do things. And I believe you said you went to Syracuse broadcasting school during the off season. And what you were stressing, I think you were a union rep, if I'm not mistaken, too. You said, now, I don't want to put you on the spot or what have you, but I do recall some things you said on the air or whatever. You're talking about guys attending meetings and you're trying to disseminate the information. But what you're basically saying was, fellas, while you are here, basically while the irons are hot, use these opportunities that's around you, because when that light switch is clicked off, it's going to be very hard. Can you expound? You already touched a bit on it.
Yeah.
A little bit more on it, because your rise from doing, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, he's on NBA radio and he's doing Sixers games? Damn. Wait a minute, he's doing weekends and doing
working.
I was trying to stay hot, man. I was trying to stay on the fronts of everybody's minds, man. So it's like, I was fortunate. Like I did the TV to stay insight in mind, like I thought, but it was fun for me. I was back home in Philly, and I did it for 5 years, which is longer than I thought I would have to do it. And we went through some skinny years, man. Those were the process Sixers, man. So we had a year, we won like, I think 10 or 11 games, man. And it's one thing to lose the game, but the job of a broadcaster is to keep the fans engaged, keep the TV viewer engaged, and don't let them turn the channel.
On that line.
It was down 20 by the second time out in the first quarter, man. That becomes real hard. So
Malik, you were there during the process.
Yes, I was there during the process Sixers, man. And it was fun. Like, I had shout out to my crew, man, my man Mark Zumoff, the play-by-play host. He just retired this past season, man. My producers, everybody at Comcast Sportsnet Philly, JR and Nick, and man, it was really, really a good group. I say that because even though we were in the process and losing, 60 games a year, we still had a lot of fun as a group. But just back with the whole preparing thing, man, like when you're hot, like the best time to look for a job is when you already have a job. That's what I say. So for me, my job was in the NBA and playing, but I started to prepare for life after basketball. And then like when you have a job and you call people will answer the phone because they know you're not necessarily looking for something. And you stay on their minds like, hey, let's just have coffee before the game, or let's meet, the players come out like 90 on the clock or whatever. Let's meet, 2 hours before the game to sit courtside and talk. That stuff is networking. That's invaluable when it comes time to get a job. And I've shared this with other NBA players, or even with people that are in the media or, scouts that are looking to get on with an NBA team. It's like just being there, doing the job, and meeting people is how you're interviewing for your next job.
Absolutely.
Understood. Hey, Hoop, I have one more.
Okay, we got time. I'm having fun. Go ahead. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, let me say one thing before you go,
Okay,
Tyson.
gotcha.
All right, man. Shout out to Flight Sports TV, man, with showing the super chat, man. Flight got the Jerry Springer of the ball followers, man. Y'all follow this man channel. This channel is 100% entertainment, man. I'm telling you, 100% entertainment, man. Shout out to Mo, man, for the shout as well, man. All right, Tyson, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I heard this question asked of one of your teammates, so we got to put you on the spot on the Hoop Jargon show. You ready for this?
Okay. All right.
All right. Your teammate, Jaron Jackson, was asked this question. Your former teammate, I should say, was asked this question, but I'm going to pose it to you. Okay. Your 03 team, can you name your teammates?
Yeah, for sure.
We on the spot.
Tony Parker.
Hold on a second. Obviously, TP. Okay.
Yeah, Tony Parker, Steven Jackson, Bruce Bowen, Tim Duncan, David Robinson were the starters. The bench is Speedy Claxton, my man. Just got named head coach up at Hofstra University this past year. Shout out to Speedy. Backup shooting guard was Manu. Backup small forward, my man, Steve Smith, the smoothest
right now.
Michigan State. That's my brother right there. Backup power forward was me. Backup center, depend on which day you ask, but our backup centers were two of the strongest dudes on the planet, man. One is Kevin Willis.
Kevin Willis.
Yep. He was old man then.
With the edge up.
2% body fat. He might be 55 years old right now, but 2% body fat. In great shape. Selling his clothes. Follow him on Willis and Walker. The other guy was this guy from Inner Mongolia, China. Didn't speak English. Had a translator. We called him Shacky Chan on the team. He was stronger than Shaq, but he could play. He had game. Speaking about what we said, like he could shoot and he was strong. He could rebound, but he knew how to play. Other guys on the team, the backups, we had Steve Kerr, my brother, my man Danny Ferry, my brother. I think that's it. Steve Kerr, Danny Ferry.
You forgot one guard. You forgot one guard.
One guard. I can get this. One guard. 03. I feel bad. I'm forgetting this now, man. I said Steven Jackson, right?
No, you definitely got him. He was a part of y'all rotation.
Yeah, Stack Jack, Steve Smith.
You even got Steve Kerr. Yeah.
I said Steve Kerr. I said
you said Steve Kerr.
Yeah, I said that's 13. We have 14. Damn.
Devin Brown.
Devin Brown, UTSA.
That's right. I forgot
UTSA.
about that. Yeah. Too. So
hey, Devin, if you hear this, your teammate forgot about
that. No, that's my guy. I forgot. Dude, I shouldn't have forgot that. I forgot, like, Devin. So Devin used to mess with Kevin Willis all the time. Like, he was his rookie, so Kev would give him a hard time. So they got wrestling one day, and Kev, I told you, he was strong. He kind of cracked one of Dev's ribs, and Dev couldn't play during the playoffs or whatever. And,
I'm not laughing.
Kevin Willis. Kev was like one of the backbones of the team. He was a respected vet, and he had this personality that everybody loved. But after he broke, Dev's ribs, Kev kind of went into a shell. He felt so bad, so he wasn't saying anything. He wasn't being himself. And we kind of needed him because if y'all remember, we was in a 1-8 matchup, and Steph Marbury hit that half-court shot. We down 0-1, and we struggled with Phoenix. So long story short, Kev had to get over that, and I think Kev getting over that, bringing himself back, and being that competitor he was, is kind of what helped us get back on the road to win the championship. But Devin Brown, I'm sorry, man, golf's finest. That's like, in his mind, he's the second coming of Tiger Woods. Devin Brown, shout out.
And then before you go again, Tice, man, give shout out to Ball Facts for the 20 ball, man, the biggest channel out there covering the Ball family. He started this thing, and hey, if you want any information about the Ball family, man, that's your source. That's the damn
facts.
show.
All right.
Ball Facts. All right, man. So go ahead, Tice, man. I see you cooking right now, man.
Oh no, brother, this is your channel, so I always defer to the host. Yeah. Hey, Malik. So wow, you've gone from broadcasting to management, now to operations. I mean, and a player. Actually, here's the question I want to frame. How have you positioned yourself? And I mean, you were talking about how you had knowledge of the rules, and then it's completely different in this role that you're in now. But that is like 4 different types of mindsets, that you have to have. And like, how does let me frame the question this way. In your present role, how has those previous roles helped you in your day-to-day activities?
I think that's a great question, because I believe those roles, going through all those roles, made me uniquely qualified for this position and most positions I'm going for, because there aren't many people. I'm not the only one, but there are very few people that have had the work hats that I've had over my career. Being a player, you talked about being a union rep, a vice president with the union, and working on the team side, working in broadcasting, and now working with the league. If I could become a part owner of a team, I think that's one of the main 6 stakeholders I'd have been a part of. So I think being part of all those entities, those groups, has allowed me to see the game. I look at it as me being a student of the game, just learning, all the ways the game of basketball is played and monetized, and fans can follow. So one of the things I tell a lot of the young players that I see today is that there are a lot of ways you can stay around the game. Like, we're all going to want to be around this game, when we're done. It doesn't just have to be coaching. It doesn't just have to be front office. I mean, there's lots and lots of ways, look at just my path, and you can see that you can still stay around the game you love. So doing all those jobs, and I think it's just more of my personality. It's like, I never said no to anything. Like I said, I'm not the Allen Iverson, the Tim Duncan, the Kobe Bryant. I don't have that type of talent and that type of star appeal. But I think being able to, exist in any crowd, and then just have the type of personality that gets along with people, it kind of makes it easier for people to want to work with me and have me around. So I'm always trying to learn something new. And now that I've learned those things over the last, 15, 20 years of my life, this is what they've manifested themselves in. And, I look at myself as being in a unique situation here at the league with my history.
And I think that's kind of indicative of what you're saying about being a good teammate in the NBA. Like, it permeates over all facets of life. And that's what I love about being an athlete. And my girl, I try to teach her how us athletes think. It's always in an optimistic frame, and it's always for the greater content of the whole, because that's just how life works, man. And we're blessed to have that as a background, because it gives you perspective on a lot of things when your physical ability isn't any longer your cash cow. When you got to understand the exist amongst other talented people that you can't out physical, you know what I mean? So I think that's prophetic in that capacity, man. I appreciate that. I really do.
Tice, appreciate them questions, brother. Sir Tice.
No doubt, man. Like I said, man. No. Like I said, when I used to see you in the Atlanta airport, at times I would ask you, I'm like, I'm that annoying caller that would call in all the time. I remember one time you broke up an argument between me and Gerald Brown or what have you, talking about AAU.
You were arguing with Gerald Brown. There's a surprise. Shout out GB.
Man, this guy's great.
Yeah, man. No, that's good, man. Shout out to you, though, man. Be safe out there. We'll see you next time.
No doubt.
Absolutely, man. So,
Hoop, thank you very much. And again, salute, Malik. And good luck this season, man.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So, all right, man. So, Malik, I know you giving us 48 minutes of your time.
No, we good, man.
Definitely appreciate it.
So what else?
We got a little more show.
Right? Nobody.
Let me know when it's time, man. I want to Fred. You're an NBA employee, sir. All right, let's see. So great question off rip. And Dex, I'm gonna get to your question. You had a good question too. How do you think your game would have transitioned to today's NBA? Do you miss the old ways? I was gonna ask you this question too. Great question, Malik Rock.
Yeah, I do. What I miss about not necessarily the old ways, but I do miss, when the game was more physical. I'm not saying it's not physical now.
I'll say it for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, there at times, there are some series in the playoffs that got a little physical, and I got excited watching them. But on the whole, it's harder for guys to defend the offensive players today. And I know, like when I came up, man, like I gotta go out. First of all, it's Tim Duncan every day in practice. You got to guard, and then you got to guard Chris Webber, Dirk Nowitzki, Sheed Wallace, McDyess or whatever. So it's like, I had to be a little physical with them dudes, KG, all of them. And that's one of the things that helped me, because I was, stronger, back then. So I was able to, compensate for my lack of height. Those guys are, those power forwards were like 6'10", 6'11". I'm
absolutely
barely 6'6" on my tippy toes or whatever. So, being able to be physical with those guys was one of the ways I was able to compensate for my lack of height and, carve out a niche for myself. So that's what I miss mostly. It's just more of the physical. And I'm not saying we need to go back to the bad boy ways. And I'm not saying, you need to have fights every night. Far from it. But this is sports. And like, there's just anybody that's, even casual fans should understand this, but definitely the real fans understand like a lot of the excitement of the game is, you want to tune in to see this guy go at it. Like when I hear LeBron and Kawhi playing, I want to watch that game because I know they're going to match up. Kawhi going to be in them. LeBron is LeBron, so you're going to see something special. But now it's just they run pick and roll till someone switched and he gets to go at, like, he goes on at Malik Rose. And Malik Rose is no match for LeBron, So I don't want to see that. I want to see the stars go at each other. So that's one thing. But as far as my game translating to today's game, I think it would have been good because that's when I got the most minutes back in the day. So if you think about some of those teams back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s that played small ball, your Golden States, your Dallases with Don Nelson, Denver, and Phoenix, or like with D'Antoni out in Phoenix. That's when I got my most minutes. Like, they would move Tim to center and play me at power forward, and I would just do a lot of the switching, kind of like Draymond does. Yeah. So I think I would have been able to, definitely from a defensive standpoint, I would have been fine in today's game. I would have had to shoot a lot more, work more on my skills offensively to have an impact. Yeah. But, I think I'd have been okay.
I'm with you, man. I was like a skinny version of you. You know what I'm saying? The skills I could have polished a little bit, but I just was a heady player. And
it wasn't that important back then. It was different.
It was not. It was not.
Like,
that's facts.
They never looked for me to score. We had Tim, we had Dave, Sean Elliott, who could get buckets with the best of them, and then Tony and Manu came. So, like, my job was always just defend. Give Tim a break on Garden, KG, and Dirk, and all those guys. Rebound. And play with energy. Like a lot of my scores, like my 3-pointers back in the day, was if I can get Shaq's third foul in the first half, or I could get Shaq or whoever tired, and they're like in foul trouble by the fourth quarter. Those were my wins. It wasn't necessarily me going out getting 10, 15 points, but if I got somebody in foul trouble or if me sprinting the court,
you did your job.
Somebody open for 3. Yeah. Those were like my points or whatever. So that's how I looked at the game.
That's nuance, man, and I see that. Greg pretty much went to that mold for the undersized 4-man as the mix-up lineup when bringing in DeJuan Blair after you. I did notice that. Yeah. And then with Boris Diaw as well. Yeah. No, that became his little niche, man. Bringing in the 6'7", 6'8".
Towards the small ball. And I long for the days where the Twin Towers, reign supreme. But like I got my most minutes. Like I used to love it. Like Dave, my man David Robinson, I love him to death. But he started to have back problems towards the end of his career. And whenever Dave would miss a game, I was like, I'm getting 30 minutes tonight. So small ball was good.
Facts, and that's how players think, man. I'm sorry, y'all. This is it's like, you heard, bro?
Yes, man.
Let me go in.
I hope you get better, and I did. I genuinely hope you.
Hope you get better.
Take a night off for me. Let me eat tonight, man.
That's facts, man. All right, so I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna go to your trash football team preference. We're gonna get to that. If Dex asked this question, man, give me a Kobe story, bro. Kobe's my favorite athlete. That's why I'm a Lakers fan to this day. Give me a Kobe story.
A lot of them. Kobe Bryant, man. Like, it was tough for me too because he's from Philly, so we had love for each other. But I hated him, man. And it was strictly from the basketball standpoint. Like, there was like a good 6-7 year period there, man, where it was either the Lakers or the Spurs coming out of the West. And, we hated them. They hated us. But Kobe, man, like he just always had that confidence. And I remember this was during their 3-peat. So we won it in 99. Shaq and Kobe get pissed and they come back and win the next 3. Bang, bang, bang. I think it might have been that year they played the Sixers in the finals, right? So they sweep their way through the playoffs. That's the year Derek Fisher hit. No. That was before that year. It was before that year. But
Fish hit that unreal shot on y'all, bro. Right. But we deserve that.
They sweep us in the playoffs. And I'm in the game this one time, and, I don't know what happened. Kobe was pressuring Terry Porter, turning him, and Terry was nice. Terry had game. He was a little older, and Kobe just locked him down. Terry was a big part for us, so Kobe took him out of the game. But he got to steal, and I'm chasing. Like, I'm behind him, and I'm watching him. And Kobe, like, he goes up and, like, cocks it back, right? He loses it in midair. I'm like maybe 10 feet behind him. I didn't catch him. So I see this, and the ball is loose. I'm ready to catch the ball like it's like he's catching it behind. This fool in midair, he went up with one to cock it. He goes back with 2 and grabs it and dunks it like in midair. Like I never seen anything like that before in my life. And I think it might have been they were up 2-0, whatever. I was thinking, I'm like, well, we ain't beating these guys. Like, just think they were on a mission, and they kind of smacked us that year.
It's good to hear the backstories, man, because, you know, man, I'm a big Kobe Bryant guy, man, and
he lost it with 1.
That's crazy.
Going up, reached back with 2, caught it, and then dunked it. But
that's intelligence, athleticism, all of
that's like just ambidextrous, or like sometimes he just hand-eye coordination.
Absolutely, facts. All right, so man, okay, so shout out to the Kobe story, man. I was gonna ask that too, man, because you know I gotta, you know, it's rough.
Kobe was the man for a reason.
Absolutely, man. And when he was alive, I hated how people would just throw ad hominems at him because they didn't like his personality. I understand. Kobe he wasn't the most agreeable person. I understand that. I do understand that. But you can't take away from his game because you don't like his personality.
The ball player, just looking at his game, very, very few on his level.
Absolutely. So let's turn to NFL before we peace out, man. So who is your NFL squad? I already know who your trash team is, but we have a friend, Alex Wolf, who is a Philadelphia Eagle fanatic. Who are you taking to win it all?
I'm an Eagle fan, Eagle fanatic, just like my man Alex Wolf. But not even I can say that, man. Like, it ain't gonna be the Eagles. All right, I'll say this: we'll lose in the Super Bowl. How about that? We'll lose in the Super Bowl, but we ain't winning it all. I don't know who's going to win it this year. I root for certain guys in the NFL. Like, I'm not a Tom Brady fan. Like, you know, everybody, you know, he's the GOAT and all that stuff. Ever since 2005, when my Eagles were in it against him in Jacksonville, and they beat us. And then, like, I knew a lot of the Eagles players back then. And just long story short, they were saying, like, they knew everything we was doing. They knew everything. They knew was coming. And then a year later, Spygate come out. You know, all the Belichick, who I had, you know, not respect, but held in high regard, all that came crashing down. So I'd like to see what Kansas City's going to do coming back. I think, you know, Mahomes and their team, you know, if I had to root for anybody, I'm a big Andy Reid fan just for what he did in Philadelphia. So hopefully they can get it done. But I love Action Jackson. I wish they would have got him a wide receiver in Baltimore. Big fan of his, man. That guy is special. Hope they, you know, get him something before, you know, he get broke up out there trying to make magic happen every play. Russell Wilson, I'm a huge fan of. So I love just the game. I was never able to play, you know, for medical reasons, but love the game of football. I love it now that we're here. But Alex Wolf is a good man. Philadelphia is a fan. EAGLES. Let's go Birds.
So can you read the comment that's on the screen?
Go Cowboys. I know.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, go Cowboys.
That Mariana
P. There we go. That's all we needed. Go Cowboys. Malik Rose said it first.
Man, let me look. It might be a bloody glove in here, man. I got set up, man. Can't be saying go Cowboys.
Yeah, that's what we do around here. Catch you slipping.
Who's the coach who doesn't get enough recognition? Yeah. Also, who's a coach on the rise we should look out for? A coach that doesn't get enough recognition.
Good question.
I think all the coaches in the NBA are good, man. That's not just like a cop-out question because the job is hard, man. It's hard. I once was a student teacher back in college, man, and they taught you about, you know, there are like 7 distinct learning styles, and you got to be able to teach every one of them.
Absolutely.
And you got 30 kids or 25 kids in the class.
Absolutely.
They all have their own learning style. And these coaches is no different. Like, you got to teach to 15 guys, 15 egomaniacs on a team and try to get them to buy into something. So it's really, really hard. But, you know, I'll think, let me think about that. You know, coaches, you know, that are underappreciated. But one coach on the rise, I got to give a shout out, you know, to my man. I worked with him in Erie, my man Josh Longstaff. He should have won Coach of the Year that year. We were in the G League with the Erie Bayhawks. He's working with the Chicago Bulls right now. Big time fan of his. I love him to death. But there are tons of coaches out there, man. Like, I'm a huge, you know, I think Jason Kidd's going to do some great things with Dallas, man. I can't wait to see what he and Luka bring back this year. My man Jamal Mosley, that's down in Orlando. He's been waiting for a long time to get his shot, man. So I really, you know, hope and pray he does something great. And former teammate of mine that, you know, I worked with before, Ime Udoka up in Boston. I think he's really lucky because Boston has a really, really good team. he's inherited that. Usually when you get a head coaching job, it's because the team was bad and they fired the former coach. You know, this team is a little bit different. His team is good, and you know, he's inheriting that, so he doesn't have to go through the trials and tribulations of building up a young team. So really hoping Ime can do some good things, man. But there are a lot of great coaches out there in the NBA. A lot of them.
I'm glad you say this because a lot of people just throw around coaches are trash, and I'm just like, you have no clue what it takes to run a team. And to listen to your GM, to your point earlier, you basically are the commander for your GM, the lieutenant, and you have to make it work. And we've seen GMs and coaches, you know. So I'm gonna say this, and you don't have to co-sign this. Daryl Morey and
Doc Rivers,
Kevin McHale, they
in
clashed. You were in Houston because Kevin McHale basically saying James Harden ain't ready yet to lead this team of what I want him to do. And people don't understand this, like, because Morey is a numbers guy. He wants the numbers to match up with the game. And that's why he's saying 3 should be worth 2.5 now, because obviously he has Ben Simmons. He wants to manipulate the stuff. He's an MIT guy. That's how Daryl Morey is. But when he had Harden, he wanted 3s and 2s to be accentuated, taking the mid-range out. And to bring to a head what we're talking about, that takes nuance away from basketball, which the mid-range is very necessary to keep the defense honest.
Oh my gosh, man! Yes.
It's crazy.
Teams are guarding like 40% of the floor. They don't guard the whole 100% anymore. So it changes the game around. And 3 is always going to be worth more than 2. But like what a lot of the numbers, and I love the numbers, by the way. Like this isn't a bashing of analytics or anything like that.
Fair enough.
Numbers without context don't tell the whole story. Like, you got to put things in the context when you're substantiating them with numeric fact or whatever. So not a lot of people, casual fans, they don't really understand that. Teams understand that, but just like you said, Daryl Morey and every other GM in the league, it's not just him. They say it's like all politics are local. Like, so all your problems are your own. It's like, you know, he's advocating for 3s to be 2.5 points now because he doesn't have a team that shoots a lot of 3s now.
Yes, absolutely.
He had a team that was really good at making 3s. He was probably advocating for them to be 10 points. You know, it's like, you know, he's going to do whatever. Like when we were with the Spurs, we were advocating for post moves and dunks to be 5 points or whatever. It's just like, whatever your team strength is, you want that to have value. So it's not just him; it's everybody.
And I understand that. I just know I know Daryl Morey for what he is, man. I know a manipulator when I see one. I'm a salesman by trade, bro. It is what it is, man. I made a video about it. I was like, oh, you missed a 3-point and 2-point. All of a sudden, you want 3s.
No, I did have to laugh at that because he has like Ben Simmons and Embiid now. And Embiid can make 3s, but not at the volume that
not a high clip,
point shooters he had in Houston are. But it was funny, watching him in Houston. He was advocating for 3s. And now with the Sixers, he's like, let's protect our post players a little bit.
Oh yeah, but really, sir.
The Cowboys lover, Miss Pino, assistant coach. Which assistant coach is on the rise to a head spot? Actually, a lot of the assistants that I really was hoping for to be head coaches, they got hired, man. Like, we had, I think it was 9 or 10 jobs open this summer, and a lot of guys that I played with or just knew from, my being in my age group, they all got jobs. My man, Jamal Mosley, Ime Udoka, the great Jason Kidd, Wes Unseld Jr., he got a job. So a lot of thankfully, there's some up and down years when it comes to the hiring, and not just the NBA, but in all sports. But I was happy that a lot of, not just minority, but just, minority coaches who are deserving of a job. Like, these people have put in, they're paid their dues and put in their time, man. And not everybody can get a job. I mean, it's just, there are only 30 teams. So inherently there are going to be a lot of people that are overlooked and never get their shot. But I was really, really happy this summer that a lot of people that I know personally got a chance to, stand on that sideline and yell plays, call plays and stuff. It's great.
No, it's beautiful, man, because at the end of the day, man, we all love basketball, man. And if you are privileged enough to have an opportunity to still influence the game, because you gain wisdom with years. I don't care. Even with me doing sales, I used to be a teacher. I still apply basketball to everything. And I think YouTube has been a good medium for me to still share perspective. I love basketball breakdowns and stuff like that. And I love the fact that my relationship building has me a degree separated to be able to contact you when I need to and get perspective, because this is like what it's all about, man. Like, even no matter where you play, what level, if you know what you're talking about, we all got a similar experience, man.
We speak the same language.
We speak the same language.
Speak the same language, man. It's been fun, man. It's like, dude, we got to do it again. I promise. Like, maybe we'll do it like I don't know, All-Star break or beginning of the season. I don't know.
Okay.
Hold on. We got to see Kristen G. Malik is reading the comments and reading off the names along with it. Christian, my man. I mean, you all right with me too, but if you hitting the 22, it might take you a week to get your change, man.
Man, I almost won last year, bro. I almost won that 22. I forgot what happened. I had the Buccaneers. I was sick, though. I was sick.
That game is so much fun, man. I mean,
it's fun.
I like it. I can't believe Dane, thought it up or whatever. But what I like most about it, I mean, it's minimal change. It's nothing major. IRS people out there, it's nothing major at all. But I like how, that's why I use my fantasy leagues. Like, I'm in a fantasy league with some former teammates or whatever, and it's a way for us to stay connected, to stay in touch. Like, I don't talk on the phone like that. We may text or whatever, but when you're in a league like this, you talk more trash than a little bit, and you get to laugh and stay connected with people. And in this case, I get to meet new people. I didn't know y'all before this league, but from being in this league, man, I look like I met some good brothers, man, and definitely some sports heads. So I'm real thankful for that.
Absolutely, man. And Malik, man, thank you for your time, bro. Like I said, we gotta have you as a regular on the show, man. I think you like it.
Definitely. You got my number, and if I hit the 22, I'm buying chips and dip for the next show. All right.
Man, the Voodoo 22 is, man, I never even heard the concept, but then you get into it, man.
It's fun.
It's a hilarious concept, man.
Fun, man. So listen, man, you go ahead with the show. I'm gonna go finish up out here, man.
Do your thing, Malik.
Up in beginning of the season, or maybe Christmas break, like Christmas games or something, when the season really starts. All right.
Perfect. Sounds good, man. Thank you so much, man. Salute, Malik.
All right.
Yes, sir. Peace out, brother.
Take care now.
All right, man. Y'all gotta Malik. I gotta say it. Yeah, man. Hey, that's a good dude, man. I've been knowing Malik Rose for about a year, some change now. And through our little side chats and stuff like that. So I be telling y'all, man, I be knowing people, man. And I'm glad y'all on the stream. If y'all not hit the like button, please do that on your way out. I think this is a good mechanism to you see quality content that's on these YouTube streams, because it's just hard. It's hard to establish and maintain relationships, but that's something I'm gonna try not to cheat y'all, man. I'm gonna have y'all with people you can take something from, and you can go to the next level of whatever you're doing, because it's good to hear people who made it at a high level of how they think, of how they go about business, about how they view the world, and you take that and you apply it to your life. And if you got to go back and reread, man, I would highly suggest share the stream, because Side Tice came in asking great questions. Malik was just sharing just his candid experiences with Kobe, with Popovich, with his teammates. And that's stuff that, again, you can translate to your own life, and it can help somebody else, man, believe it or not, man. So thank y'all for being so loyal to the stream. You guys were on consistently pretty tough. And thank y'all for the super chats, man. I really appreciate that, because, at the end of the day, man, this is my off day. I'm taking time in my day to entertain y'all, because I know that's a relationship that I can just sit and have a conversation with him at home. But I want y'all to hear this shit too, because this is something you may not be privy to know in your own personal life. And I'm your connect to other people, with having LeVar Ball on here, having Cynthia Cooper on here, having Alvin Brooks III, Calvin Hester. I'm working on getting Uric Malagy. He's assistant coach at University of Texas. That's my boy. Having Malik on here, because y'all need to hear this stuff. Y'all need to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, and people who competed or coach at the highest clip. So I really appreciate y'all. And I thank y'all for congratulating me on the show, man, because I want to make all my shows this good. I want y'all to take something from it. You know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate that, man. The Flowers giving YouTube game. Yeah, man. So shout out to everybody doing their thing in the YouTube stream, because it's not easy as it looks. You got to learn how to use this StreamYard stuff. You got to learn to work with people's time schedules. This interview was bumped up 45 minutes, and I was scrambling to get it together. But you wouldn't know that. But it's just something you got to do, man. And I'm okay. I take that on. And so until next time, man, I guess I'll let Kendrick Perkins take us on home to glory. Man, thank y'all for tuning in to Hoop Jargon. Real talk, man. I love y'all support. Y'all keep me going. If nobody be on here, it'd be really hard to run this. And y'all on here showing love. And so share the stream, like on the way out. give a subscribe if you've not done so already. Till next time, Hoop Jargon. We out.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority all Houston people. So that's
Shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority all Houston people. So that's
Shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon.